Oh, do I have something special for you today. I was finally able to get my hands on one of these, and I'm sure by now you know exactly what this is. The Smock from Spyderco. This is the knife with that. It has a push button compression lock, and man, is it a good time. Now I get why it's so difficult for them to keep this in stock, because it is just so much fun to carry. So let's do this. Hey, how you doing? My name is Jay. If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. Consider clicking on that subscribe if you're looking for knife reviews that get right to the point. So right about now, you should be looking at some specs. Now, these are all measurements that I had personally taken myself, but I'll also list them down in the description below, just in case if there's any of you that want to follow along. Let's go ahead and quickly compare some sizes, just so you can get a good idea of what we're working with. We'll start out with the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. How about a couple Benchmades, and this being the Bug Out, and then the 940, and the last one is from Civivi, and this is the Brigand. You're only looking at about 2.9 inches of usable sharpened edge, and now for a knife that measures about 7.9 inches overall, that's really not a lot of edge there. And I'm gonna bring out the drop firm forged gent just to make my point. You can see, I mean, of course the gent is a much smaller knife, yet it shares just about the same amount of edge as the Smock. This flipper tab, it's great. It is ingenious. It's such a simple design. I mean, and I almost was about to say, I can't believe we haven't seen this before. Why hasn't somebody already made a flipper tab like this? But you know what? We actually have. Remember this? Yep. The Kaiser Theta. Very, very similar in design as far as that flipper is concerned. And the action here in both directions is, well, yeah, it's fantastic. It really is. Even though I can pretty much fail the deployment whenever I want, but the detent, I'm happy to report that detent, it's strong enough where you see I got it flipped upside down, so if the blade is gonna shake loose, it will be when you're holding it upside down, but I'm unable to. What really sets this knife apart from all others is gonna be this push button compression lock. Oh man, does that work so nice. So I wanna show you here. Here is so it functions, it's just like the Paramilitary 2, except instead of you using your, instead of you using your finger here to compress that lock, there is actually a button that has, and yes, it does have like a little bit of it has a spring in there. What this also means now for left-handed users, well, like myself, is that having this push button, now there's no need for Spyderco to make like a right-handed or left-handed compression lock like this Paramilitary 2. Now this is a lefty version, so you can see all it does is it puts the lock on the other side, so then I'm able to just pinch it closed, compress it like anybody else would. Now this Sage 5, this is a standard right-handed compression lock, so I can do it. I just have to do a little bit of acrobatic thing with my hands, but really, no, it's no big deal. It takes me just a second longer, but I'm still able to do that. Having this push button, even though, for a lefty, this would be on the wrong side, it's still a heck of a lot easier than trying to operate the standard compression lock. But unfortunately, unlike the Paramilitary 2, you're not able to deploy the blade on the Smock by actuating that compression lock. So you see here, okay, with the PM2, if you go ahead and you compress the lock, of course, then you can see the blade just kind of drops right out. If you do that, if you try to do that with the Smock, okay, push, nope, push, and the blade does not just, it does not fall free. I mean, if I want, I can go ahead and, okay, so if I push the button and I give it a good shake, I can break it loose that way, but it really just, it doesn't feel like a very, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a natural movement. And you know what, as long as we are talking about the deployment, so of course you have a couple different options available to deploy this blade. So of course by the flipper tab, or you can go ahead and, you know, you can use the Spidey hole just with your thumb, slow roll it open, you can flick it open, and then you can do the very fun Spidey flick. Now another benefit from having a flipper tab of this type of design is that it is tucked within the handle, so there's nothing to kind of get in a way, and I always appreciate this. So that means when you're cutting like on a flat surface, you're able to get all of that sharpened edge on there, just like, so let's take a look at another a Wharncliffe with a flipper tab. Here's the Civivi Brigand. And you can see, yeah, with that flipper tab, you just have less edge to use with on a flat surface. I mean, that's a big deal to some people, but others don't really care, but I do like that. I honestly thought that this was gonna weigh 3.7 ounces. It feels, and maybe it's just me, but it feels a little bit heavier. 3.6 ounces. Okay, maybe it'll stay there. 3.6 ounces, which is gonna be roughly the equivalent of 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 4 AA batteries, or, oh, look at that, almost the same exact weight as the PM2. Now we get to do one of my favorite things in the whole wide world, and that's we get to check out how well this 3mm thick blade stock, let's see how well that it slices. Now, all reports have been very positive about its cutting ability, and that it's fantastic. So let's see. Oh wow, yeah, okay. Now I see why that nobody can keep this thing in stock for very long. Oh man, I mean, I knew it would cut well, but wow, I didn't realize it was that good. Holy cow, that's great. So you can see I have plenty of room for my medium-sized hand, but I will say I don't like how far back, so like when you are holding the knife as it's designed to be with this, you know, using this index finger choil, you're kind of far back away from where that, you know, the sharpened edge is. I mean, of course you can always hold it like this, which is fine, or even, you know, use that like a forward finger choil, which works as well. But yeah, not a huge deal, but you are kind of far back. Now, one of the first things that you're gonna wanna do when you get your knife is probably swap out this stock clip with an aftermarket one, which you can see I have already done with this. This is a titanium clip from MXG Gear. I think these run for about $23. I'll include a link down in the description below, just in case if anyone is interested. But yeah, because you're gonna have, otherwise with the stock clip, you're looking at quite a bit of handle material would be sticking out of the pocket. But hey, at least look at that. Not only is this tip up for righties, but yeah, bam, they did give us some lefty love. Thank you, Spyderco. I actually was lucky enough, and believe me, I realize how lucky I was, to find this on Amazon at $160. I will be sure to include that link below. Yep, the centering, I've done nothing as far as like adjusting. So it came perfectly centered right out of the box. And you know what, let me check really quick. I want to see if there's any kind of movement in the blade, up, down, left, right. No, none at all. Wow, that's solid. This is a first for a push button compression lock. So of course, you know, in the first edition of this, there's gonna be some, you know, I don't want to call them design mistakes. Let's call them design sacrifices. There's going to be some design sacrifices that had to be made in order to accommodate this type of compression lock, which is exactly why we have, you know, this forward choil that well, it does kind of have like a little bit of a hook shape to it. And at first, you know, I want to be honest with you. Yeah, this did bother me quite a bit, but the more and more that I handled this, the more and more that I cut with it, and I mean, you saw how this thing slices, you know, and how much fun it is. I was really able to begin to kind of overlook that. If I lost this knife, if I lost it, if it was damaged, if it was no longer in my possession, do I like it enough to replace it? And I'm going to tell you right now, yes, absolutely yes. Everything here is just done so well. If you can find this for $160, I think it is just well worth that price. Hey, do me a favor now. If you did enjoy this video and you got any value from it, would you just maybe leave one of these? I like them a lot. And don't forget to click on subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. See you guys.